Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli back with another review video, and for this one, a request from Trent Martin. Shout out to Trent Martin, of course. He has requested me to review Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That's right, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. What can I say about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Well, I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. Of course, as we all know, it was the first animated feature film ever, and becoming the most popular animated film of all time. In fact, it changed movie history forever. Even with Walt Disney, his wife and his brother told him that there's no way that he could pull off doing something like this, but he was to prove them wrong, and boy, did. He's like, I told you so. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, I gotta say, it's really good, and again, for it being the first ever animated feature of all time, as I said, just everything about it's great, from the characters, the music, to the songs, the animation, of course, of course, what's interesting is, the evil queen has the first line of the film, so... And, slave in the magic mirror, come from the farther space. Through wind and rain, I summon thee. Let me see thy face. Magic mirror. And so, of course, some of the songs, the first song we get, I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today. It's good, and with the prince coming in, now that I found you once, just that song. And then, of course, the queen sends the huntsman, to, take her far into the forest. Find some flowers, we should, blah, 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 blah. Yes, your majesty. And there, my faithful huntsman, you will kill her. But your majesty, the little princess... Silence, you know what will happen if you fail me, or something like that. Yes, your majesty. But to be doubly sure, bring her heart in this, a box, And let me talk about that for a second, because the thing with the box, she already has a box for that purpose, because she had just found out from a magic mirror that morning that Snow White was the fairest of them all, and the idea and the plan and her plan for having the huntsman take Snow White off to the forest, and then later, they'll have the huntsman kill Snow White. And how did she get a box made so quickly? I mean, is that even important, or does it matter? I saw this thing on YouTube. Apparently, there was a deleted scene that was written and storyboarded, but it was never animated. So it's one of those. I'm pretty sure it could be real. Who knows? This wood maker or box maker, the queen summons him, and, you called for me, your majesty. Yes, I need a box. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that on YouTube? I'm not really sure. It could be real. This guy on YouTube drew this. What if it would have looked like if it was at least animated or something like that, However, again, according to him, it was written and storyboarded, but it was never animated. So I don't know. I mean, you guys let me know what you think, because I honestly don't know. And of course, that scene, where the huntsman, I can't do it. Oh, please forgive me, She's bad, jealous of you, But who? The queen, run, run away, into the forest, anywhere, And that sequence with her running through the forest, it's like her mind tricks her, and everything in the forest comes to life, from the trees, everything else, the logs, like crocodiles, And that's when she, just instantly, just tumbles down on the floor and cries and sobs, while the woodland creatures, they come out to check out on Snow White, and turns out, because the animals find out, she's very friendly and sweet, and, I forget the name of the song, but there's another song that Snow White sings with the animals. And that's when, the woodland creatures take Snow White to where she can hide, etc. And, of course, it's the Dwarfs Cottage, And another great song, of course, whistle while you work, I can't really do it that good, but, the tune. But you get the idea. Of course, we then come to the seven dwarves, and of course them singing, we dig, 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 dig in a mine the whole day through, and of course another great song, hi ho, it's off to work we go. I got it. I just about got it, but not at the ending. Yeah, and like that whole sequence of the seven dwarves, they mostly been singing, not talking or anything, but that doesn't matter. And of course, the Snow White and the animals, they make it up to bed, etc. The beds, of course, and of course, the animals wake up to hear the seven dwarves coming back and still singing, and that's when Doc notices and tells the dwarves, our house, lights on, Jiminy Crickets, the doors are open, the chimney's running, etc. That's when, the dwarves, they go into their home and, like, everything's been washed, everything's been tidied up, etc. Yeah, it's just, and then, they think there's, like, some spook or ghost or something. They have Dopey go up and see what it is. And that's when they all go up and see, and it's just Snow White, and, that's when, Snow White figures out which dwarf is which, You're Doc, you're bashful, etc. And then, like, of course, that's when, like, Snow, the dwarves, of course, let her stay, as she explains to them, the queen, her stepmother, the queen, etc. And, that's when, like, she helps fix apple dumplings, soup, or whatever it is, I don't know, that she helps fix. And that sequence, which I do like, it's, them washing, etc., step up to the water, pay no disgrace, Grumpy refusing to bathe before dinner, I'm warning you, what you gonna make mad at me sick, going, boo, boo, and of course the dwarves, they get a hold of Grumpy and make him bathe, etc., make fun of him or something like that, because of him being too grumpy and stubborn, basically, that scene with Dopey fighting against a frickin' bar of soap, and the hiccups, etc. And of course we cut back to the evil queen and her castle, and then it turns out the heart of, she thinks that because the huntsman brought back the box with a heart, but it turns out, and according to Magic Mirror, is a heart of a pig you hold, the heart of a pig. Then I've been tricked. Makes her way into, like, laboratory, and makes a potion to disguise herself and to fool Snow White and the dwarves, making her old and such, turning her into the Old Hag. And of course, we then, of course, see the Old Hag and such, and now a special death for Snow White, the sleeping death. That camera close up in her face. It then cuts face black. The last thing we see is her eyes. It's creepy. Of course, another great song in the film, the yodeling song. I guess that's how it's titled, Oh, da 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 dee, I like to dance and tap my feet, but they won't, blah, 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 that song. Of course, that part at the end of the song number of Dopey, Dopey, on top of Sneezy, making him a bit taller and dancing with Snow White, and that part where Sneezy sneezes and it causes Dopey to pew, pew, that. Of course, another song, like, the dwarves have, they ask Snow White, tell us a story, as Sneezy says, and then sings a song/story, he was so romantic, someday my prince will come. Another great song, of course. That's when, like, when it's time for bed and such, the dwarves let Snow White sleep upstairs in one of their beds, I guess, I don't know, and the dwarves, they choose a spot around the cottage, the house, where to sleep, so, like, Doc, he sleeps in the sink, Happy, he sleeps in the cabinets, Dopey, he has one feather, I think that's what it is, from a pillow that the dwarves ripped off. And like Sneezy, I think it's Sneezy, yeah, sleeping on Dopey's butt or something, I don't know. What else? I forget where Sneezy sleeps, but like even the little fly that was kind of flying around Sneezy, he sleeps on his beard, so, and you hear him like snoring and such, and the sound of a fly, the bug. And of course, we come back to the witch, and there was one scene, right as we cut back to the witch, we see her, dip the apple. Actually, before that, there was a scene which was deleted, where the witch is like boiling the cauldron, death within you, rule, boil. And that's when she dips the apple in. But that half of that was cut, so and of course, the poisoned apple turns into a regular apple. The witch makes her way to, of course, that part of the witch. Have a bite, scaring the crow. Poor bird, poor crow, whatever it is. Either it's a crow or just a bird. I don't know. The color of its beak. I mean, you guys let me know what bird it is. If it's a crow or anything, so and so the witch the evil old hag makes her way to the Dwarfs Cottage, throughout the night and day. And of course, the dwarves say goodbye to Snow White because they're off to work. She gives each one a kiss on the head, and Dopey just still wanting to go for more, but it's like, just wanting to kiss on the lips, And I think Grumpy, we kind of seen Grumpy as he does like Snow White, and just keeping it to himself, and after she kisses him on the head, it's like, turns back, like, and goes back to his grumpiness. He's keeping it to himself, I guess he's like that on the inside. He has heart and likeness, cares, so, and of course we see those vultures, they follow the old hag and such, and then, of course, Snow White, she's baking pie, meets the old hag, and the old hag trying to have her try the apple and explaining to her, tricking her and explaining to her what the apple is like, etc. It's magic, and you can grant a wish before you take a bite, etc. And the woodland creatures, they discover that they find out, of course, that Snow White's in trouble. They go off to get the dwarves, and that's when, like, Sneezy says, maybe the old queen's got us Snow White. Snow White, she's in trouble. We gotta save her, as Grumpy says. Then they go off. They ride on the dwarves ride on a couple of the deers. They make their way back to the cottage. But, of course, they're too late because Snow White already ate the apple. And so a cool scene with the chase between the old hag and the woodland creatures and the dwarves. And that's when they make it up to the dwarves and the old hag. They make their way up to, like, a cliff and such. The old hag is trapped, and she uses a giant boulder to crush them. I'll crush your bones, etc. Look out! And that laugh that she gives. And lightning strikes where she is. It causes the rocks to crumble, etc. She falls to her death, along with the rock, the boulder, coming right towards her. And the vultures, the dwarves look down. The vultures, they go fly down and eat what's left of her. And then we cut back to where the dwarves, they, of course, they think she's dead or something. They have a funeral for her, kind of sad and such. And then there's, like, we cut to, like, where it shows words. The dwarves didn't have the courage or the guts to bury her, etc. They made, like, they made a glass and such. And that's when the prince, who was searching far and wide for the princess, finds her, and he sings a little bit. Then he goes up to her, kisses her on the lips, and bows or something. And then it wakes up Snow White, because, true love's kiss, that's the only thing that can wake her up. So, that's when she's awake and such. Everybody's happy and cheering, that's when, Snow White says goodbye to the dwarves. Snow White and the prince, they go off, and, like, they on a hill, and there's a castle. What the heck is the castle supposed to be? What? Is it where the prince lives, or something? I don't know. You guys let me know. And of course, last in what's the word? Rendition, yeah, of someday my prince will come, but with different words to it. Of course, shows the words "the end," the music ends, etc., and the movie ends. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it's a really good film, and for it being the very first ever animated feature, and of course it being the first ever Disney animated feature film, so For Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, well, why not? I'll give it 10 out of 10 stars because it's fantastic. It's the first ever Disney animated feature film in the world and the very first animated feature film ever, you know. So, you know, you guys let me know what you think of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs because I like it. It's good and such, you know. And, you know, and shout out to Trent Martin. Thank you for requesting me this, and I mean, let me know, you can let me know, along with the others, what you think of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, etc. So again, 10 out of 10 stars for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I hope you guys enjoyed this review video. More new review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review video. Take care, and peace out.